Pretty close.
Right
A
now.
little bit. We're almost on. There we are.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm not used to being here.
Speak,
Standing for the
Mary
Pledge of
Ann,
Allegiance.
speak.
Good evening. Welcome to What's New. We have a show planned for this evening, but before we start, we would like to dedicate this in memory of Mary Ann Otto, who was... Is that right?
Jean.
Oh, Jean Henson. We were talking about. We were talking about Mary Ann Otto, and we have lost two wonderful people.
Well, Mary Ann also, yes.
Mary Ann Otto, we'd like to dedicate this show. We'd like to dedicate also to Jean Henson, which you just have to excuse me. Alzheimer, I think, or old age, I don't know which one it is. Anyway, welcome to the show. And I will let ours take over and introduce our guests, because we want to dedicate this to their memory, both of them. They were some great guests.
Okay, so tonight we have Martha Riesinger. She's joining us and going to be here at the table with us every other week. So now we have a classy lady here too. And tonight we have Rich Rebecki and Robbie Pratt and Toby Carrick. And also, Lance is supposed to come, but he's not here yet, so we'll just kind of wait and see if he shows up. So, whichever one of you guys want to start talking first, you can introduce yourself and...
Don't you all get up one
That's
time?
all three talk.
You've got the seniority. He's already established. I'm the new kid on the block, so I'll go last.
I could start first. Probably brief, and I actually will cover a little bit of what both these guys are here for also. So I'm Toby Carrick at the St. Genevieve Welcome Center and Tourism Department. And we have quite a few activities coming up in the month of October and early November that I wanted to talk about and let people know about. This weekend coming up is the 17th. We have the Night of the Werewolf, which is hosted by French Colonial America. And that is from 7 to 9 p.m. Saturday, but is also one set of tickets is sold out already, as I understand. So
This is correct. It's sold out. First time we've ever done that.
there'll be also some other opportunities for people who want to attend that event on Saturday. And we also have a free concert that day. Dennis Stromat, who everyone in town has probably seen at one point or knows about anyway, French Creole fiddle player, offers both an informative and entertaining program when he plays. He'll be giving a free concert from 5 to 7 p.m. on the back porch of the Jean-Baptiste Valet house, which is the yellow house at the corner of Main and Market Street. So it'll be on the back porch. The yard there will be open. It will have, we'll have some chairs out there, but people are certainly welcome to bring lawn chairs and blankets and whatever they want to do. It's supposed to be a nice day. It looks like high of 60s and probably dipping down into the 50s when he hits the porch. But there'll be parking behind the Welcome Center and probably some parking along Market Street. I know you got part of Main closed that evening for the festivities, so get there early and grab a spot. We will have the Welcome Center open during the evening for restrooms, so people can use that. And the Jean-Baptiste Valet House will be open during the day in the afternoon because they have sketches in there from the Missile Horn collection that used to be in the Welcome Center, has moved across the street to the Jean-Baptiste Valet House. And there's also the paintings from the Women's Club's collection from the Art Colony is in the library of that building. And we also have some pieces by Charles Reinhardt, who recently passed away. There's 5 pieces that he had done, paintings and sketches that are in a room in there, and also a couple pieces by Brother Matthew. So there's about 45, 50 pieces of art in the JB Valley House.
It's really nice.
Yeah, and it's well
Very
done.
nice display.
And then the weekend after that, on the 24th, is the Pumpkin Glow at Main Street Park. The City Park Board puts that event together. That'll be from 4 to 8 p.m. It'll give families a chance to carve pumpkins or paint pumpkins, and they'll be on display up there at Main Street Park, or you can probably take them home with you if you want. That'll be 4 to 8 p.m. And then the Deja Vu Spirit Reunion is that evening in Memorial Cemetery. That's 5 to 8. That's a fundraiser for the Foundation for Restoration, so they can do some work in Memorial Cemetery. So you can go in, listen to about 25 people tell the stories of the spirits that are buried in Memorial Cemetery and have a night of entertainment, and also goes to a good cause to help the cemetery stay in good shape. That weekend, we're also going to have Jerry Huggins, who plays saxophone. I'm sure some people have seen him play. He plays at the Christmas Festival. He's played some other events in town, plays at the winery sometimes. He'll be playing the saxophone during the daytime at the Pergola at the corner of Main and Merchant Street. So that'll all be on October 24th. And then on the 31st, the downtown St. Genevieve organization is having their Halloween Spooktacular. That's 2 to 5 p.m. It gives kids a chance to trick or treat at the various businesses and locations in downtown St. Genevieve. So there'll be a chance to get some candy and check out some shops that day. So that's the 31st. Then on November 7th, I'm sure Robbie can speak a little bit more to this when he gets a chance, but we're having the first Picanapalooza event. It's kind of taken shape in the last couple weeks, months, I would say. We kind of knew World Heritage Day wasn't going to take place this year for the variety of reasons with the coronavirus. And this is another event that's probably not going to be the thousands of people big event, but another thing to give visitors and local people a chance to get out and enjoy some live music. There'll be a live band, some different food options, some vendors, some different things. It'll also support some good causes. There'll be a fundraiser for Missouri USO, which will in turn provide some families meals for the holidays. And it will also be a donation for Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, I believe, for their scouting for food, so people can bring a canned good and help that cause as well. So that'll be all on November 7th. And then I know we'll have more details in the future, but the 14th is going to be when the Cookie Crumb Trail usually takes place. It's going to be modified this year, but it's going to be the Cookieless Crumb Trail. So it's going to be a little bit different because of the coronavirus situation, but downtown St. Genevieve is planning an event for that weekend also.
That's awesome.
So that's just to let you guys know some of the things coming up. And if you haven't been to the Welcome Center, it's worth checking out. If you haven't been in a while, it's certainly different from even the way it looked last week.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, every week something's different in there, but they've put in the diorama that Louis Pruneau had created of 1830 St. Genevieve. It used to be in the Amaro House down on St. Mary's Road. It was moved up just the last couple weeks, and they have put that in there, reinstalled it. Louis came in, spent about a week in there working on it. They bring it back to condition, and they got the plexiglass back around it. And there's some other exhibits and displays that have been put in there. French Colonial America has lent an exhibit about the early days of St. Genevieve. It's part of the National Park kind of becoming more involved with that facility and that building. They've taken a role in terms of what they want to see in there and telling the story of old St. Genevieve. So it's different, but it's neat.
Yeah, that plexiglass looks really nice over that. I like the lighting too.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
So that's everything I have.
So on November the 7th, there's vendors and stuff, you said?
There will be some vendors.
Some vendors.
Robbie has been working on contacting food
So you
vendors.
tap out,
That's
tap in.
Food vendors and different crafts vendors.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I'll very quickly, unless you have more for.
We're going to plan to close down Market Street from 2nd to Main, and then again in front of the Welcome Center, so that we'll give a chance. We'll have a display. We've been talking with Chris Kurtz, who has his collection of World War II items.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to bring some things down, and then Robbie's been in touch with, like I said, food vendors, craft vendors, for some demonstrations and such.
Yeah.
So
We'll rewind just a little bit to this Saturday is our annual Night of the Werewolf. We sold out 120 tickets, and we're going to be adding 40 the day of that you can get from our gift shop. They won't be available online, $6 a person. And those tickets will not guarantee you a house tour, but you get to partake in the rest of the festivities. So for those who don't know, Night of the Werewolf is an annual event that we have in October. That we sort of take advantage of the Halloween season and teach the public and educate them about the French colonialist sort of superstitious beliefs and bedtime stories for kids about werewolves and how it ties into their faith, and be a good person, live a good life, and if you don't, you put yourself at risk for becoming a werewolf. So we teach a little bit about that. We do candlelit tours of the Bolduc House. We have stories and folklore around the campfire. We've got a s'mores and cider station. We've got Common Grounds Coffee House will be on site selling hot chocolate and cookies as well. And of course, the Hands-On House also has a lot of activities at it. That's the old Linden House where we used to be headquartered out of on Main, right across from the Bolduc House. That'll be open for younger people with a little bit less intense, or less scary activities going on that night. And of course, the militia will be on site rounding up and shooting werewolves as well. So that's what that event is.
So you can go walk with the militia and hunt.
Yeah, so we'll do some patrols through town, and they're going to be out looking for werewolves and hopefully capturing some and shooting them.
Maybe we'll be werewolves.
Come talk to me, and I'll get you set up with somebody that'll bite you. But that's on Saturday, and like I said, we sold out of our tickets, so we're going to do some sort of day of tickets that don't guarantee you a candlelit tour, because with precautions we've set up for COVID, we can only allot so many tickets.
So a lot of people attend that then, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's growing, and we were even talking about making it a two-night event maybe next year, doing it a Friday, Saturday back-to-back. So it's growing.
Definitely, if there's
Yeah.
enough interest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting a lot. I mean, everything's getting canceled this year, and there's so much interest from all around. So, yeah, we're doing it. We'll have some sanitizing stations set up throughout. We are. If people are interested in doing it, we are requiring a mask for the house tour portion.
Right.
But everything else is outside, so it's up to the guests to decide if they'd like to put a mask on.
But it would be nice if people would try not to get in each other's faces.
This is correct, yes. That would be good.
Just
the other,
for their protection and the other people's. Yeah.
That's right. And the other thing that I forgot to mention is we were talking with Dennis Stromat a little bit. He's going to hop the street after his concert, and he's going to tell a couple werewolf stories around the campfire at our site before he heads off to his next destination for a Sunday concert. So we've got a lot of stuff going on that day.
Golly, it sounds like.
Busy.
Yeah, and then November 7th, as Toby said, it's the first time we've ever done this. It's called Picanapalooza, and it's sort of it's a traditional fall festival. There's a lot of games and activities and food and music, trying to sort of encompass the post-Halloween fall feel. So there's a pie contest with 3 categories, and there will be a judging station and $100 cash prizes for all 3 first place categories. So we've got pecan, pumpkin, and apple are the categories. As he mentioned, we're working with the Boy Scouts, or the Cub Scouts I should say, for their canned good drive, because that's the week they put bags out, and we always wanted to have a canned good drive for be part of this festival, so we're working with them on that. So they'll have a drop-off
That's a good
spot
idea.
as well. As he mentioned, we're cutting off the street, so it is truly a street festival that day at 2nd Street, but then leaving Main Street open and then cutting off again at the Welcome Center. And through the street on Market is where we will post a lot of Mr. Kurtz's historic vehicles, as well as the USO donation booth that we're setting up. We're going to have food and music at Lions Park, and we're also going to have a food vendor selling food off of the Center for French Colonial Life balcony that day. The St. Genevieve Museum Learning Center is going to be one of the vendors on site that day, but we're having just 2 handfuls or so of sort of craft vendors. We're keeping it small to keep quality control over it, so it's truly, craft vendors and pertinent nonprofit organizations, I guess you could say, with the USO and the Cub Scouts. But the Cub Scouts are also going to be doing, they're going to be doing baked goods and kettle corn as well that day. We've got a historic jeweler and a blacksmith and a couple different woodworking people, and we've got a lot of good vendors and a couple different sort
This
of.
is the set.
Are those some of the people that used to come to the Heritage Days?
1 or 2 might be.
Yeah, we haven't got to that group yet. The blacksmith is one who's there for Jour de Fête.
Oh, okay.
Which is down Moses Austin Park.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think the jeweler is familiar with the
Jeweler's
come
been-
for ASL pewter events.
Yeah, they've done some of their historic festivals at the pewter stores.
Is that the one that's at ASL Computer a lot of
Mhm.
times?
Mhm. Yeah. We've got a couple different musical acts going, including a bluegrass group called Poana. This is also an all-weather event, so we're working on indoor options for everything and porch options for the games, because we will have washers and cornhole and maybe 1 or 2 other different games. There's tournaments for those, or even just pickup games if anybody's interested. There's also a historic living history military timeline, so we're going to have different people portraying American soldiers from different eras of American history. So Civil War and colonial era, but there's also World War I and World War II. So it's what a mess.
A lot of planning.
Covering it.
Covers a lot.
Yeah.
Golly, those guys
Yeah.
You guys have been busy.
Yeah, we have been very busy this year putting on a lot of stuff, so. There is no admission to the event itself. There is a fee to get into the game tournaments. There's a $5 fee per team for the game tournaments. There is no cash entrance into the pie contest. And of course, the food you'll have to pay for.
Are they decorating the bikes? Is that what it is?
Decorating the what?
What did you say?
The pie contest?
Oh, pie. I
Yeah.
thought you said the pie.
The pie contest.
I
Yeah.
do too.
That's for next year.
It don't even sound
It's tapped into
right.
my planning. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, old lady needs some hearing aids too. Oh
Well, I
my.
got hearing aids on and I still heard that.
And there will be somebody selling pecans.
Yeah. Are they gonna be picked out?
Yeah. Of course.
You think so?
Okay. So let's hear, are you finished, Robert?
Yep, I think that's plenty.
Let's-
Well, you guys
What else do you want from me?
Well, I don't know. You can
We'll be
sing
back
or
in
whatever.
November. We'll talk about Christmas and New Year's then.
Okay,
There you go.
that'll be good,
It's
yeah.
obviously one of those years where it's not the usual year for events, so,
Right.
like I said, Robbie's been working hard to come up with some ideas, because we have some tourists come to town. We get about 100 people through the Welcome Center on Saturday each week, and so, we're still seeing a couple hundred visitors per week in town. It just gives them something to do, some different options of events and activities, and keeps them interested, maybe come back next year too.
Right.
Doing this and putting this out before will possibly make more people come.
Mhm. And, local people,
It's for us too.
yeah, that obviously, and entertainment, for come out and see some
Right.
things.
And the Art Guild now is open on Fridays
Right.
afternoons and then Saturday from 10 to 4. So it's a very nice place, all newly renovated. Beautiful art, history, and it's really nice in there.
It's a good addition, and as well as the Learning Center also.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're ready for you.
Well, and I'm ready for you. Yeah, it's not a rumor. We're actually
Open.
going to open up. It's a soft opening, and it's a soft opening based on, things that were much like other museums, out of our hands and out of our control.
Right.
But we're planning on opening the doors Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 11, and we're gonna close at 4. So it's just that limited time. We'll monitor people who attend, who's in there. We're working under both CDC and local health guidelines. Masks are mandatory. There'll be disinfection stations right inside the entrance to the gift shop. There'll be other areas throughout on both floors. We have a total of 7 planned galleries. What visitors will see this weekend will be one of the bigger galleries, the lower Grand Gallery. That's where the dinosaur
I'm
display is.
anxious to see that.
Yeah, it's
We were in there when they were working on it.
it's pretty impressive. It really is. And then the St. Genevieve Room Gallery, that will be populated upstairs, and we'll give people a little peek at what's going on upstairs. So 2 doesn't sound like much. 2 out of 7 galleries. The other ones are being worked on. There won't be any workers, during those hours. But we don't want people being underwhelmed. So with their admission, we're going to give them another full-day free pass,
Oh, well, that's nice.
you know, to come back, to use either when the first floor is 100% completed, or they could wait and come back to see the entire facility. Each of the 7 galleries can stand on their own, and we have, this is kind of unbelievable, but we could probably fill what we have in our basement, all 7 galleries, and still need another building. Bless you. Still need another building to, if we wanted to put everything out at one time.
Oh,
And one of the reasons, and I've been before you ladies before, when we were about to move from the former museum, which is now the Art Guild facility, the main reason we had to leave was that the footprint was so small, we couldn't change out, we could never think of writing agreements with other museums to swap displays.
Right.
I mean, the stuff we had, and we still currently have, truly unbelievable. And, we were talking, Jeff and I were talking recently about how we dovetail, people, we're on the same side of the street, people can come and see how things began, and then at the French Colonial Museum, and then they can come to see if their interest is in St. Genevieve related items. I mean, we've got matter of fact, that the footprint of our St. Genevieve gallery, when you include the entire footage, which also includes our information desk, and I'll explain the learning center concept in a second, but the footprint isn't that much smaller what we have now from what we once had. But the secret is, what we have now, things aren't buried on top of 8-foot,
Right.
storage can,
Where you
or
can't
underneath, and there isn't something below something that, nobody was aware of
right.
until you took stuff out and started cleaning
Right.
it.
So how often are you going to change out? Or have you got a plan for that?
We
yet?
really, the rule of thumb from what I've heard in my interviewing process with similar facilities, that 9 months, 6 to 9 months, a few items here and there, but usually about a year. Everything stays pat for about a year.
Yeah.
But I had more than one person. The executive director at the WOW, World of Wonder in Springfield,
Oh.
the Cabela Bass Pro.
Right.
They've got a museum and an aquarium. She told me the same thing that the gentleman running the Negro Hall of Fame Museum in Kansas City, he said the same thing. The day you open your doors, you never stop changing. So there has to be, to stay fresh, and
Right.
it helps when you rotate your items. It helps with your sustainability. People that buy into the memberships, they have unlimited visits all the time. It's those people that may come a weekend trip from St. Louis, and then they'll plan on maybe coming for one of the other multi-events, but they'll find out that, what they once saw
It's
at our
different, yeah.
is different.
Right. And that'll keep the interest going.
Yeah, and that's what really, and as we said, recently, the last time I was here, if you were to take a look at the resume of the people involved with this project, I mean, there are some really, each one of us brings something special to the table, but the one common denominator, none of us have had any kind of museum experience.
Oh, my goodness.
So, we're,
You're,
yeah, we're doing the one step forward, 2 step back, but you know what, we won't make that mistake a second time.
yeah, and sometimes that might be better
Right.
because,
This is one project where each one of us, the entire board is made up of 14 people, and each one of us at one point or another can say, we've got our thumbprint on the project. We've worked within our comfort zone and our specialty, and but then, sometimes, doing the democratic thing and governing by group slows things down a
Right.
lot. And with my East Coast upbringing, dictatorship is the best form of democracy. But that's not right sometimes. But if you allow me to, when we first floated the idea of moving out of the former museum, we thought about buying a smaller building and having two buildings on the square or near the square. Then we decided, geez, one's going to be the annex. One's going to play second fiddle to the other, especially if the new one is up to whatever standards that year was that we were going to pull the trigger on it. There wasn't much we could do. We were kind of landlocked. On one side of us, it was city-owned. On the other side of us, it was county-owned. The roof was leaking. And who's going to pay for it? Well, you folks are in it. So there was a lot of reasons that we looked to move on, but we wanted our first goal was to try to salvage the former facility. When we realized that we just couldn't do that, we knew that, and as a board, we made a commitment to ourselves to make a commitment to the locals that we weren't turning our back on it. What we were going to do would be not just bigger is better, but what we were going to do is raise the bar, completely for some of the stuff that I discovered in our closet. After years of running operations. Truly amazing, and nobody ever saw what was in our closet
I was
because there
going
was
to
no.
say people probably didn't even know it was there anymore.
Well, you know what? There was some stuff that we put out. We started curating the St. Genevieve Gallery, and I saw something that somebody brought up from the basement, and I said, well, "Where'd that come from?" Oh, it was in the storage. It couldn't have been. We had our version of a Dewey Decimal System. We had regular cards that we eventually imported on a computer, and I said, "No, that somebody donated that." I said, "No, it was in storage." So I went in, I looked at it, I flipped it over, I looked inside it, and there was a little white tag with a number on it, 1108. Well, that's our system of categorizing. So I went back to the cards and I looked at 1108. Yeah, armadillo handbasket. Handmade by, donated. I mean, our card was complete, but in the 5 or 6 years
And
that I
that's
oversaw,
amazing.
it was buried in a box underneath a bunch of stuff.
Oh my goodness.
And that's amazing if you want to
It
catch
is.
an armadillo.
Yeah. And this is a basket. I don't know what you would put in it, armadillo treats. I don't know, but we don't have armadillos in Boston, so I mean,
They're all over St. John.
They're all over
Yeah.
St. John. But when we started the initial idea about a new museum, it wasn't that we got resistance, but we had but you've got a museum now. But so we talked about how we could go about this, and I've always been a firm believer that when you go to any kind of facility, and it doesn't matter if it's a one focus like the art museum in St. Louis, there may be different genres of paintings, but it's all basic art. Where we're going to have 7 completely different galleries of interest. But I always felt that whenever you looked at that little descriptive, whether it was a little 3x5 card next to an object, or even a 8.5 by 11, information sheet about that object, there's a lot more information to be gleaned if you were so inclined to do your own research. but who wants to do research on their own when you can maybe have somebody do research for you? So what we did is we developed this learning center concept so that if you as a visitor, something really strikes your fancy and you want to know more about that, well, there's 3 options that we're going to afford you. We're not all educators. And some of us, like myself, have let our certification lapse, in retirement. So we can't play the full-blown education card, but what we can do is we can put somebody at an information desk and have you walk up to that person and say, hey, I'd like to learn a little more about the seashell collection, specifically numbers 11, 12, and 13. Fine. Would you like me to do the research for you, or would you like to do it yourself? We have a bank of computers. You can sit down. You can do your own research. Or I'm working the information desk. I can do it for you. In any case, you're not going to have to look at your cell phone. You're not going to have to take time out of your day. We'll do it on the spot.
That's neat.
And then when you're ready to leave, we'll give you that information. We're not going to charge you for it. We are going to teach the people who work the gift shop to be a little slow on the draw, so that while you're waiting for it in the gift shop, you're going to look around a little more, maybe buy something extra. We are stealing a page from Disney. Walt Disney, you can't go anywhere in a Disney property without entering through the gift shop, exiting through the gift shop. So we're doing that too. Barring an emergency that you have to go out an emergency door, you'll come in and out of the facility.
Oh, my goodness.
But going back to that learning center concept, having some computers at your disposal is one leg of this educational triangle. Having somebody at the information desk doing the research for you is the second leg. Now the third leg is our theater. We'll have a theater that's big enough for between 30 and 35 people that will have a whiteboard and or a screen that slide in front of one another. The theater will morph into a classroom. It'll morph into a lecture hall. It'll morph into a hands-on classroom where we can rearrange, the volunteers could rearrange the chairs, set up folding tables, and a class of 24 or 30 kids now has a workspace to maybe do something related to what the teacher just taught them, which was also on a satellite feed from Nat Geo or the History Channel. And we're planning in our initial stages. I talked to the library personnel in the public school sector and the Catholic school, the Valley School sector. I've spoken to the people at the library in town. We're planning on electronically linking up. And,
that would be neat.
yeah, and one of the things when I first started, telling people this concept, I said, here's a perfect scenario how this will work out. You've got a senior in high school who needs some time for community service. Well, he or she has just started in their library doing a research project, and then they realize, it's community service time. So they come over to the museum, learning center. They do their community service volunteer work, and they realize they've got 20 minutes to kill. So you know what? They can now go to a computer, bring up what they were just doing at the high school, and finish up. Now they got to go home, grab before COVID-19, this fictitious student is on his or her way home to get their gear for, a late afternoon practice, and as they're driving down 32, they remember they forgot something. Pull right into the library, sit down at the library computer, go into the program that we have, that the high school has. And if there's licenses, we're a 501c3. We can gift those licenses, So now that student has worked on 3 different computers, but on the same program, all in the course of his or her day.
That is awesome.
You know,
is
so,
awesome.
I mean, that we're hoping that we're not in competition with the French Museum. We're not in competition with the colonial homes. You know, we just want to be a player. But you know what? There may be a similar museum somewhere along 55 that people will say, well, you know what? St. Genevieve is, have you thought about doing what St. Genevieve is doing? Because this is what they're doing. Genealogy. I know that the library has, I believe, one genealogy program. I know genealogy is, I don't know if it's taught, but it may be studied at the high school. Well, there are the top 5 genealogy programs. No one entity has all 5. So if the R2 district has one of them, and the library has one of them, well, why can't the learning center
Right.
buy the other 3? And now the whole town has access
Yeah.
to all 5, because you just share.
That's
You know,
awesome.
and the sharing technically has already started
we already started.
with your, what's that?
That's right. Yeah, already started.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, we've got some artifacts on loan from the Learning Center, and we got some pictures going to one of their galleries on the 2nd floor as well. So yeah, we're already cooperative and
Yeah.
and working together, and no, there's no competition.
No,
It's
no.
all of it's enhancing the experience in St. Genevieve.
Yeah, yeah.
That is
That's
awesome.
So
wonderful.
we're excited. It's a slow, it's not slow, soft. It's a soft opening. We don't know if we'll have one person or we'll have 100 over the 3 days. And at this point in time, because we have lost so much time, I mean, when the virus hit, the first thing we did is we closed the facility. So the workers that were working to populate, they weren't on site. They didn't have anything to do with us for 2 months. Then when they came back, the suppliers were closed. So even though that they were on, sometimes we had difficult bringing stuff in.
Yeah.
So, and it's not an excuse. I'm the type of person that truly believes excuses are the tools of the incompetent. It's a rationale.
Right.
And the rationale was, we didn't, you folks qualify for any COVID relief?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. You know why they were able to do that? They were open before the virus hit.
Oh.
We weren't.
You were.
We lost funds because we weren't open. We lost the opportunity to write grants. We weren't open. Now we're gonna be open. So the emphasis now, hopefully, is we could put our best foot forward, explain to people, this is what you're gonna see, but here's your pass to come back to see more. And we've got our gift shop. Our gift shop is probably populated with maybe 30% of the items that we'll eventually have. We don't know, we don't know the number of people coming in, and if they're gonna spend, So we bought some of the basic stuff that all gift stores have, and hopefully as we get closer to Christmas, we'll be part of the Christmas walk. And we'll set something up in the courtyard. The courtyard thing that we did the
that's
other night for the
awesome.
VIPs worked out well. And that courtyard, that should be the first good impression that people get, that as they come in, they'll look around, and even though the clip joint building all the way back, that's our phase 2. We'll be developing that because we own that.
You own that.
Yeah, we own that. But right now, the courtyard is a great place to socialize at distance because it's long and narrow. We had 8 high top tables for our VIP night. They were set 12 feet apart, and you could have run cows through there. There's so much
Oh,
room.
yeah, that is nice.
That is,
Yeah.
that's very nice. I like that courtyard.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna put in the clip joint? Or do you
Well,
plan
I mean,
to?
right now, our curator's lab is in the middle of the first floor
Oh, okay.
of the Learning Center. But we always felt that it may be better served over in the clip joint if we take the brick wall out that overlooks the courtyard and put a glass wall there instead.
Oh,
So
Will they
that
let
way
you do
there,
that?
that way there, anybody that is working inside there, won't be disturbed, you know, with people trying to ask questions and
Right,
stuff,
right.
but they would be able to, they'd be isolated. You know, right now, if we had 3 or 4 college kids coming in, they'd have to come through the gift store, they'd have to bring whatever they're working on into the, a little bit of confusion. But if they're on property, but off-site,
Right.
that's something that we've talked about. Nothing's etched in stone. I mean,
Right.
the type of walkthroughs and tours that I give now, I say completely different things than I did 6 years ago, when, you know, the
Yeah.
walls
Oh,
were
sure.
still being done. So everything
Yeah.
changes. We're hoping to have a little concession stand in that row of, the clip joint row, behind the clip joint area, that we don't want to compete with any of the restaurants in town.
Right.
But if we want to have a social area,
Right.
we want, you know,
You need
a
some
coffee,
snacks.
soda,
Right.
something, you know, no sandwiches or anything, but,
Yeah.
you know, nibbles, popcorn, you know, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because we've got the data, the data wires already on the outside of the building for an exterior flat panel TV. We want to create our own infomercials,
Yeah.
so people can see what's going on the inside, and then maybe that could double as a revenue source by maybe renting out company
Right.
logos,
Right, absolutely.
you know? And then behind that, we'd like to steal a little page from, you know, back in Massachusetts, Old Sturbridge Village. On the weekends, they have the blacksmiths and the candle makers and people in, you know, colonial dress, doing their thing. But as a learning center, we just don't want somebody there, you know, doing so. We want a group of kids learning how it's done. And again, because we're a 501c3 nonprofit, we can gift to those kids
Right.
the items that person is using to make. Mickey Kedding's already said she will teach a lesson on candle making.
Oh,
And she'll
wow.
be in her, you know, her colonial guy, and we'll have people, you know, anyone who's watching her, you know, would you like to make candles? And sure, well, here's the stuff
that's
that you
awesome.
need. You
That
know,
is, that's great, yeah.
so, I mean, we've
Nikki's got a lot to teach.
yeah.
Oh,
She's very talented.
Yeah, and we, you know, when we were in the former facility, we had previously done 4 different guest speakers in our lecture series, but we were, you know, we were nomads. We were in 3 different sites doing these. Now, you know, we have our theater, and we'll be able to do it, and it'll be sophisticated enough where if the lecturer needed to do, and I'm dating myself when I say a slide tape presentation, but you know what? I mean, the equipment will be there to support that, and we don't have to limit the lecture series to just adults. We could do it with a class that dovetails with a teacher doing a lesson.
Right.
And then it could turn into, as I said before, we set up tables and you could build crafts, you know, based on, and we're already starting to generate some stuff from those of us that were in education at one time. But when we feel the time is right to go to the schools and see what their interest would be and
Right.
how they would structure things. We don't want to do stuff like I just mentioned, a slide tape program, so I'm dating myself. You know,
They
maybe
might not wanna do
They
that.
may not want to do that, but they may want to do something a little more contemporary, but we'll get it from the you know, the contemporary educators.
Right.
So, you know, we're excited. We're excited that, you know, we're going to be able to open the doors. We have we're cautiously optimistic that, you know, people won't be underwhelmed when they come in, but when they see the nickname of that lower gallery is the Hall of Giants. So when they see the dinosaurs that are on display, when they see some of the other items that, you know, come from that period of time, when they go upstairs and see some of the really, we've got some truly unique items that from in our St. Genevieve collection that were all in the hands of someone from St. Gen or St. John County.
Really?
Yeah, everything that was
Yeah.
over there that was donated and or loaned to us.
Wow.
Nothing came from somebody's Grammy's
Oh my
Wisconsin
gosh.
attic. This is all, everything that we have is documented
It's from here.
local. I mean, we got a brass spyglass that actually witnessed the race between the Robert E. Lee and the Natchez up the Mississippi.
Wow.
It's documented. We've got the first milling machine. Somebody in 1873 in Philadelphia at the Enterprise One Company realized that the traditional square coffee grinders, the mill that you get from that didn't change if you were doing beans or coffee or corn or nuts. The grind was all the same. So somebody came up with the idea of putting a little flip mechanism on it and reaching in and pulling one gear out and put a different gear in, close it up. Oh, look at that, different
A
mill.
different, yeah. Oh my
And-
goodness.
Our paperwork indicates that the patent pended paperwork was based on that unit. So that could be, I'm not saying it is, that could be the first Enterprise One that the Enterprise One company made.
That's
We've got a first generation KitchenAid.
Oh, my
Really?
gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows how KitchenAid works, right?
Right.
All right. You grab the arm of this KitchenAid, and you go like this, and two things happen. There's some cutting blades on an arm that pulsate up and down like this, and at the same time it pulses up and down like that. There's a mechanism that turns the bowl.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was the predecessor to what people are using now.
Oh, my
Oh, my
God.
Now, somebody came up with that, and we have it in our display.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, there's so many unique stuff. There's so much unique stuff, and there'll be something for every taste, if you will. I remember at one little dog and pony show that Robert Wilk and I did. I had mentioned to the group we were addressing that I'd really like to see us become a 5 cent museum facility. And somebody called me on it and they said, how are you going to get taste out of that? I said, one weekend, we'll have somebody dressed up like a fur trader, and he or she are going to be teaching how to make corn muffins over an open flame.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
You know?
Yeah,
You could do
the
that.
French,
They
the
could
French
do that
Museum
down
is
there.
doing,
Yeah.
something similar now with the breads and the baking stuff. So, so there's your 5. The other 4 are slam dunk,
Yeah.
but the taste, well, that's it right there.
Now, something that would be really nice, I found looking at that one counter upstairs, if someone was there to tell you what each of the items were.
That
And
will
happen, or
right now,
maybe.
if I'm on the second floor, that like this weekend, if I'm on the second floor, I'll be able to give a detailed
Okay, 'cause some of-
descriptive on
right.
all the religious items, because
Oh.
I handpicked all the religious items that are in the religious case,
Oh,
that's
okay.
in the shadow of the steeple. I mean, a lot of symbolism there.
Right.
Okay, but
Yeah,
the
because
other
you-
stuff,
yeah,
the other stuff that's there, I can, and you know what? I taught high school for 35 years. I may not know what I'm talking about, but you'll walk away saying, well, that was interesting.
That was interesting.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah, the reason I say that is because looking at it, you're thinking, oh, that's nice, but if you knew a little bit more about it.
Oh, how about
It would-
right off the top of my head, my favorite item in the St. Genevieve Gallery we have Pope Pius's 12th skull cap. I mean, we have the skull cap of a pope. Now, granted, back in the day, he was Mussolini's buddy, so he's not high on the list of popes.
But it's a pope.
But it's a pope, yeah. And
Right.
one of the monsignors from this parish was over there, and
Got it.
yeah, and we have it on display. You know, we've
They got a lot of stuff in Vatican that they ought to share with different parishes.
Well, you know what, we don't have a link with the Vatican, but we actually have reached out to the big museum in France.
Oh.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, and we've reached out to a smaller museum in Quebec. And
Oh my goodness.
we just introduced ourselves, and the woman that was director in France wrote back to us and said that they're in a I don't know how many $1 million renovation they're going through, but
Really?
as soon as they're done, she would like to do a cooperative, lesson with us.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, and because we explained that we have already done video lessons with other parts of the world. We've done 2 lessons from the old facility in India and one down in Argentina. And she wrote back that she, would really be interested in sharing information and the thing is, we're hoping to get accredited eventually.
Oh, yeah.
And that opens up an awful lot of
Right.
doors if we can get accredited, and this would help. So what we did was we sent her one of the pewter medallions that
Oh,
Tom
yeah.
and Pat made, the St.
Oh,
Genevieve
Yeah.
medallion, to say thank you. And she just wrote back. She was so excited, half of her email was in French.
Oh, my
God. So,
You can hit translate and
Yeah,
it'll translate it for you.
but it's going to happen this weekend, and then
What are your
each
hours?
11 to 4, Friday, Saturday,
Saturday and
and Sunday, and then ironically we have our scheduled monthly meeting Wednesday night, so we'll go over and game plan, much like a football team for the next weekend. The next weekend's
So
game,
it's
and we'll change and
weekends.
alter. Yeah, we're
Right.
only doing weekends,
Okay.
probably until the first of the year to gauge,
Right.
What's going on.
And hopefully
Right.
COVID went and got buried by then.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yes.
One could only hope. But maybe we could add a day.
Right.
Like
Right.
a Thursday afternoon and a Monday
Right.
morning,
Right.
and just
Right.
And that's
boost it.
true because a lot of the people that come don't leave until Monday. So maybe they would come in the morning.
Yeah,
before they
we've even
leave
thought
town.
of opening, like on a Sunday, a Sunday morning, like 10 to 1, and then maybe again 3 to 6. Leave a span in there to disinfect and clean down.
Right.
And we're more as a collective group, we're more concerned with the
Being
health
safe,
of everybody.
oh, definitely.
Yeah. On
Yeah,
our
that
end
would
of
be
the-
terrible to have somebody, oh my God, they got COVID at the Learning Museum.
Yeah, I already have a spin for that. You could learn anything with us, so, you
Absolutely.
could
You'll
learn
learn all about
you can learn to be a little more careful next time you visit.
Right, next time you'll wear that mask.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Anyway.
how much does this cost? then?
It'll be a $10 for an adult. It'll be $10 for kids down to a certain age. It'll be I think 5.
Oh, okay.
And we're doing the discount for senior citizens and for military, both active and retired. And we've already started our membership drive. So even though people don't have their membership card or their membership welcome packet, all they have to do is come in and say, Toby walks in. Well, a bad example because everybody knows Toby, but if Toby were to walk in and somebody behind the register said, $10, please, he'll say, I'm Toby, Carrick, and we'll have, oh yes, Toby, thank you so much for for coming in, and that also reminds him that he's a charter member,
Right.
So if he should buy anything from the gift store, he'll receive the 30% discount that goes with the membership.
Oh, okay.
So it's 11, again, 11 to 4, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend. It'll be 11 to 4 next weekend.
Okay.
We'll have, I already know, by next weekend, we'll have a few more items in the gift shop that we don't have on display now because they'll be coming in, on Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Right, right.
And we're excited, but it's that, that cautious optimism,
Right.
Right. Well,
So how much is a membership?
The charter membership
Okay.
is $150. It's only for 1 year.
Okay.
It comes with 6 benefits. The benefits include a regular credit type card with your name on it, a beautiful hand-struck pewter medallion from Tom and Pat Hooper. It's got a little ring on it, so you can display it at home.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's too heavy to wear around your neck, but I mean, that's an option
could do
too.
that.
That's what I bought it for. So
What's that?
So I can get the medallion and wear it on my neck.
Okay, all right, yeah, you look like a rapper. Toby C.
There you go.
St. John's
C.
rapper, Toby C
Right,
is St. John's
right.
rapper. You'll get the 30% discount on all purchases
Okay.
throughout the unlimited membership with that card. So
Right.
you can come in,
Anytime.
6 times out of the 7 days,
Okay.
if we're open that long.
Right.
You also get some free passes.
Okay.
As part of your welcome and thank you, you'll be getting, I believe it's 4 adult admissions and 4 children admissions.
Okay.
The thing I like the most, we found the original 1935 founding members plaque. Anyone who
Oh
had
my
a
God.
hand
Oh.
back in 1935 in calligraphy is on this plaque.
oh, wow.
The people like Toby who have become charter members will be considered current founding members.
Oh.
And a new plaque will be made and displayed with the original. So we had the original 1935 library and museum. In 2020, we're going to have the new founding
The new
Museum
one.
Learning Center.
That's awesome.
And I really, it's something. I brought my neighbor over. He was invited to the VIP night. He's a pillar in the community. It's Eric Bosler. His
Eric.
family lives next door to me.
Yeah.
I brought him over after the Rotary meeting on Tuesday to see what everybody else saw. And when we got upstairs, and he asked me the same question about the membership, because it was in a little gift bag that we gave everybody, a little blurb about it. And I said, this is the original member. He said, really? And he went over there and he started, there's my grandfather.
I was gonna say his grandpa.
Yeah, he said, there's my grandfather.
Yes.
All right, so Eric will be a charter member.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure.
And his name will be on the current
The new
founding.
one.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I think that's kind of cool.
that
I mean,
is.
our mission statement, and I'll be real quick here.
No,
our
You don't
mission
have
statement-
to. We can stay
Our
till
mission
8:30.
statement is to continue the legacy of preserving the past for future
Right.
generations. The tagline is preserving the past for
Right.
future,
Right.
for future
That's
generations. And we did that right from Jump Street. We bought a 100-year-old historical building
Yes.
and we rehabbed it. We brought it back to life. The Ketting family's beside themselves.
Oh,
that-
I'm
that-
sure they
that-
are.
that-
Yeah.
That's something as important as this learning center is going in it. So even from the building, well, our mission statement is also an actuary statement. We do that almost every day that we're in there. And that's why we're all, so excited about this
Well,
project and
absolutely.
what it could mean first and foremost to the community, and by extension, the kids in the community. And we hope people come from other communities and they come
Oh,
in, and then they go
will.
back, and word of mouth is the best form of
Well,
advertising.
in the
I'm
school
sure they
districts, the kids, that could be their field trips.
Yeah.
That could be their
Right.
new field, that's what I thought of right away.
And as a 501c3, when you have something to do with education, right?
Well, I'm on the school board.
School board, okay, all right, I thought I recognized the name.
Yeah, because I remember when Robert Wilk asked me to do a part on that.
Okay, all right, well, you know as well as I do that the first thing cut out of budgets is transportation.
Yes.
And then by extension,
Well,
field trips.
right.
Well, as a 501c3 nonprofit, we can gift the price
Oh.
of transportation
Oh, my
to get a
goodness.
school district out, to our facility. We can gift the admission to
That's
get
awesome.
those kids, even underprivileged kids in St. Genevieve.
Right.
We can, when we get to a point when we
Right,
can, when
right.
we can do that.
That
Yeah.
is
That's
awesome.
wonderful.
Oh, my goodness.
So anyway, thank you for letting me go on and on and on.
Well, you didn't go on and on, that's
I'm
great.
excited.
Yeah.
When she
Well,
said you were
I
going to
am
talk
too.
about
When you're
this.
excited about something, it's
Absolutely.
kind of tough to put a lid on it.
And you really don't have to, you can talk for
No.
another half hour if you want.
No.
We
Well,
are
thank-
Oh, my
not
God.
limited on our time. We
Well,
can
thank-
go up till 8:30,
No, well,
so.
thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me back.
Well,
I was just
anytime
here
you want
last
to come,
month.
just give a buzz.
Well, this could be a monthly date until,
That's fine.
That's fine. Absolutely.
You always have something new that is coming up.
And Toby always has something new. You like your new job?
Yes, yes.
Great. And you moved over to the Ballet House?
I'm kind of between buildings.
Oh, you're
I'm
between them.
usually at the Welcome Center. All my papers are at the JV Valley House.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. The Welcome Center is probably the better place to be in terms of helping on the phones and front
Okay.
desk. And,
Yeah. And the girls still work there, right? They work out of the Welcome Center, yeah.
Yep, Regina and Jan and Casey and Mary Elise. Yep. And,
They are. They're very knowledgeable.
mhm.
Yeah, you got a good crew.
Yes.
So we have to tell you guys, and you too, when I was young, I'm not going back how many years ago, so, but Pumpkin was the, Pumpkin Boslers. Anyway, I lived on Ridgeway, and we were, me and my friends, and remember the Oris at that time, and the Kite Rate, well, we were going down there. And, actually, we were going to the show that night. So we walked. I mean, you walked.
You walked
back in those
everywhere,
days. You
right.
walked everywhere.
Yes,
you
It
did.
didn't make a difference what time of
That's
night
why
it
we
was.
were skinny.
Absolutely. So we were walking, and so we were coming from Ridgeway, and we were going up by St. John, and then we cut across there, and I remember my sister saying, "Don't you dare cut through the cemetery unless you talk to Mr. Bosley." Well, here we are walking, just as excited as we could be, and then I got up there and I thought, well, who's going to ask? Who's going to ask Mr. Bosley? So I was telling the story there a few weeks ago, and I said, you know what, let me just do it. So we did. And I'll never, you talk about scared, talk about a good story. Let me tell you, we walked in, he said, and he came out and he was walking, he said, now you see this path over here? Don't you get off that path. And we're thinking, okay, why? One of my friends said, why? And he said, because there's spirits in there. And if you walk and you hit any of them, they're going to come out. Let me tell you, we walked single file. Couple of us, but we walked single file. And we wasn't sure we wanted to make that shortcut coming back, but we did. It was dark. We didn't care, We weren't scared. But let me tell you, that was a little frightful for us.
I don't
was
think it'd
fun.
be safe to do that
Oh, I
nowadays.
wouldn't, no, I
No.
wouldn't let my kids or my grandkids, wouldn't want them walking the streets. No. Although we're pretty safe, you never know.
I get scared a lot.
For sure.
Right.
I have this ESP, I see things.
You what?
I see things.
You see things? Oh,
Oh,
my
yes.
God.
Oh, yes.
What do you see?
I saw my mother walk down the hall, and she's been gone a long time.
You see spirits, huh?
Spirits.
Oh, gosh, and I have since I was little, and it just scared the living daylights out of me. My grandmother always told me, now, that's just a gift, now, just don't worry about it, just don't worry about it, they're not gonna hurt you. I said, are you sure? But I've had that. Oh, that scares me. I haven't had it for a few years. Well, I'll take that back. 2 weeks ago, I saw my husband.
Oh.
He walked through the room.
This show was exciting tonight, let me
Yeah,
tell you.
very
Oh,
nice show.
Oh,
I'm
it
really
scares
excited.
you
I
half
wanna
to
come
death
this
when it
weekend.
happens to
Yeah.
you because
Yeah.
it's so unexpected. I mean, it's a farm. You can't see the face, but you see the farm,
Oh.
and you know the farm. And it just sometimes I just sit there and I blink and I just sit real quiet.
So the spooks don't come and get you, huh?
Oh, my gosh. I said, why did I get endowed with something like that?
So they haven't canceled Halloween, have they? It's still.
I think
It's
there,
still on?
aren't they saying that people should put tables out in their,
Oh,
front of their
you know what?
houses?
Yes, I did, well, I heard that with the St. Louis area.
Oh, was
I
that
heard
where it was?
No, I
Oh,
heard it on the
okay.
news.
I
Now, I don't know if that
oh.
was here or not, or.
Oh,
that
I don't
was
know
just
either, I just heard it, so I
Just
don't
put
know if
something
it's
out on
here
your
or
porch
wherever.
or,
Yeah, table out. Do you know?
I'm not sure about that, but yeah, we're just talking about the.
Nobody knows?
The 31st, the downtown merchants are doing their candy giveaway for the
On the
spooktacular.
table.
So I imagine it's going as planned.
And you know what,
Okay.
that would be, it's not like these kids need candy. That would be perfect.
Yes.
It's daylight, you know where the candy come from,
Yeah.
and all that kind of
And
stuff.
yeah, because they usually have the trunk or treat, don't they, in the
There are
schoolyard?
some of those going on also.
Are there?
Yeah, I think the church.
So those are
churches
probably
still, they
safe,
may have
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess for our wrap-ups, there's the flu shots, October 15th at the fire department. And a drug take-back on the 24th from 10 to 2 at the fire department.
With the fire department,
Oh.
okay.
Mm-hmm. And then Toby's announcements about Stromat. He's playing from 5 to 7 at the, you say it, I can't say French. Yeah.
When you said that one, I thought, boy,
I can't speak
Yeah,
in
listen
any
to
Frenches.
him.
Yeah.
did a great job.
And the Night of the Werewolf is Robbie's deal at the Center for French Colonial Life. And that's on October 17th from 7 to 9. And you're sold out, right? But,
We've got 40 tickets left that'll be available starting at 10 a.m. on the 17th.
okay.
wow.
Not online though. Got to come to the gift shop to get it.
Oh, okay. And then the Spirit Reunion. Mickey was supposed to be here tonight to talk about it some more, but unfortunately she had another one of her headaches. So that's from 5 to 8 on Saturday the 24th also. And there's going to be people representing the 18th and 19th century residents that are buried in the cemetery. And there is a $5 fee that goes to the upkeep of the cemetery. So anyway, that's what's going on in St. John, plus all the stuff Toby mentioned that I don't remember, and that's not wasn't in the
much.
newspaper.
It's on tape and online, hopefully. So
Okay.
And you definitely got to visit stgen.com and get details about all the things going on.
Okay.
That's exciting.
So there's always something going on here. People just don't look for it. Like Mary Ann used to always say.
I remember.
Yeah, she used to say that all the time. If you can't find anything in St. John,
I remember her telling us that. Yeah, you can't
you're
find
not
something.
looking.
You're not looking, absolutely.
So, thank all you guys for being here. We
Yeah.
appreciate
Thank
it. Anytime you want to come back, you're very welcome.
Yes.
We like sitting here chatting, kind of like the fireside chats, huh?
Yeah, yeah, kind of like being in my living room in front of a fire with a glass of wine, except there's no
Yeah.
fire and there's no wine.
I know,
But
wouldn't it be
otherwise-
nice? Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
nice? Do you think the city would let us do that?
Yeah, you just open one of these windows.
There you go. Or we could get one of those fire pits and sit outside.
I don't
said parking
I don't
lot.
think Charlie's camera would fit out our.
Oh, probably not.
Get out there.
Probably not.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight, and we will be back on the 28th. And we don't know who the guests will be yet, but we're sure to have somebody. So,
And anytime you guys want to come back, come back.
Well, and especially if you have something in December, you know.
oh, they
that would
will,
be-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Ellie and them will be back for the Christmas walk, and then they're also in February for their,
I forgot what
Event.
that's called.
hmm,
I forgot
at
what
the
that-
Beds Hall.
Oh, yeah.
So, everybody wave good night.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night. Thank you all for listening.
Yes.